Namaskar. Today we'll study the coagulants, the drugs which coagulate the blood. Before that, let us discuss the coagulation factors. There are 12 coagulation factors, factor 1 to factor 13. So factor 6 is absent. Factor 1 is fibrinogen, factor 2 is prothrombin, factor 3 is the tissue factor or thromboplastin, factor 4 is calcium ion, factor 5 is accelerator globulin or proacceleratin or labile factor, factor 7 is serum prothrombin conversion accelerate or stable factor or proconvertin, factor 8 is antihemophilic factor A, factor 9 is antihemophilic factor B or Christmas factor or plasma thromboplastin component PTC. Factor 10 is thrombokinase or Stuart factor or power factor. Factor 11 is antihemophilic factor C or plasma thromboplastin antecedent or PTC. Factor 12 is contact factor or glass factor or Heisman factor. And factor 13 is the fibrin stabilizing factor or fibrin H. So out of all these factors, factor 3 it activates one pathway and factor 12 it activates the other pathway. So factor 3 is called tissue factor. Tissue factor, why it is called tissue factor? Because it is released when there is tissue damage. So when there will be tissue damage, this factor 3 leaks into blood from cells outside blood vessels. So outside blood vessels, that's why it is called extrinsic pathway. But this is in vivo, it cannot occur outside. Outside our body it cannot occur, so it is not in vitro, it is only in vivo. So it is extrinsic pathway because the blood and blood vessel are not involved. The tissue factor which is released from the cells outside the blood vessel and they leak into the blood to activate this pathway, so it is called extrinsic pathway. So this tissue factor now activates factor 7, then this factor 7 activates factor 10, then factor 10 in presence of factor 5 and calcium, there will be formation of prothrombinase. So in each step almost calcium or factor 4 is involved. So up to prothrombinase, the extrinsic pathway and the other pathway, the intrinsic pathway, both are different. After formation of prothrombinase, the steps are same. So this prothrombinase converts prothrombin to thrombin in presence of calcium. So the factor 2 is activated. So thrombin is the activated factor 2. Then thrombin has two functions. One, it activates your fibrinogen or factor 1, and it also activates the factor 13 or fibrin stabilizing factor. So first thrombin converts the fibrinogen, which is soluble form, into loose fibrin threads in presence of calcium. Then these loose fibrin threads are converted to stabilized fibrin threads in presence of the activated fibrin stabilizing factor. And these stabilized fibrin threads or insoluble fibrin is called clot. Okay. So this is extrinsic pathway. And similarly there is intrinsic pathway, and we call it as intrinsic pathway because the activators are in direct contact with blood. That's why it is called intrinsic pathway. They are present within the blood, all these factors, the activation factors. So in this case, the factor 3 or tissue factor is released from the cells outside the blood vessels where there is tissue damage. But here it is present within the blood, so it is intrinsic pathway. But this pathway can also be activated outside our body. If we take some blood in a glass tube, then it can be activated. And that's why this factor 10, because in the glass tube also factor 12 is activated. So this factor is also called as glass factor or contact factor or Heisman factor. So damaged endothelial cells activates factor 12, which activates factor 11, which activates factor 9, which activates factor 10. Okay, so in absence of factor 9 also, in presence of factor 8 also, here this factor 10 can be activated, which can be activated by the damaged platelets, which forms this platelet phospholipids, which can activate this also. So now This activated factor 10 in presence of factor 5 and calcium forms prothrombinase. So up to this pathway is different. After that it is same. So prothrombinase converts the prothrombin to thrombin, and then thrombin converts the soluble fibrinogen to insoluble fibrin or clot. So out of this, if we see here, you can see factor 9 and factor 10, factor 9 and factor 10, and here we see the factor 10 and 7, okay, and then in the second step this factor 2. So 2, 7, 10 and 9, these are important factors, and all these factors are the glycoproteins. Factor 2, 7, 9 and 10 are the glycoproteins, and in the synthesis of these glycoproteins, all these factors 2, 7, 9 and 10, the final step is gamma carboxylation. So you can see here alpha carbon, beta carbon and gamma carbon, and this gamma carbon there will be gamma carboxylation. So the enzyme is gamma carboxylase, and to this enzyme coenzyme is vitamin K. So vitamin K has a role in the synthesis of these 4 important coagulation factors 2, 7, 9 and 10. So this final step is gamma carboxylation, the enzyme is gamma carboxylase, vitamin K acts as the coenzyme. So the active form of vitamin K is the hydroquinone or KH2 form, hydroquinone. So hydroquinone form acts as the coenzyme to gamma carboxylase, and then it is converted to the epoxide form, which is inactive. So there must be some regeneration of the active form. So epoxide is converted to the quinone form, and quinone is then reduced to the hydroquinone form. So epoxide to quinone, quinone to hydroquinone occurs by vitamin K reductase. So here we can say K0 reductase converts epoxide to quinone, and K reductase converts quinone to hydroquinone. So the coagulants, so vitamin K will act as a coagulant, and vitamin K is, as we know, it is a fat soluble vitamin. So for absorption it needs bile acid, and it exists in 3 forms: vitamin K1, K2 and K3. Vitamin K1 is from plants, so it is known as phytomenadione or phylloquinone. Vitamin K2 from bacteria in the GIT, in our body it is synthesized, it is called menaquinone, and vitamin K3 is the synthetic form, that is menadione. So for absorption they need bile acid and bile salts. So there is development of some water soluble forms which do not need bile acid and bile salts. So they are menadione sodium bisulfite, menadione sodium diphosphate. So the coagulants are the drugs which promote blood coagulation, and they are used in case of bleeding or hemorrhage states. So the most commonly used coagulant is the fresh whole blood or plasma. This is the best therapy because if there is deficiency of some clotting factors, this fresh whole blood or plasma can provide and act immediately. Then the second one is vitamin K, and it can be given orally or parenterally by intravenous or intramuscular route. So if orally, then we need salts, bile salts for their absorption. And miscellaneous are the heme fibrinogen, anti-hemophilic factors, depending on the absence of which factor the patient suffers. Then adrenochrome monosemicarbazole, routine, a plant glycoside which prevent capillary bleeding with vitamin C, and another drug is ethamsilate, which inhibits prostaglandin I2 synthesis, so promotes platelet aggregation, and it also exerts anti-hyaluronidase activities. So these all can act as coagulants. So the most common is your vitamin K. So vitamin K, the mechanism, if you see the mechanism here, we can see vitamin K acts as the coenzyme to the enzyme gamma carboxylase, which is required for gamma carboxylation, which is the final step of the synthesis of 4 factors, which are all glycoproteins, factor 2, 7, 9 and 10. So in this way vitamin K can be used as the coagulant, and vitamin K can be used in bleeding due to oral anticoagulant drugs, in hemorrhagic disease of the newborn, in vitamin K deficiencies due to your steatorrhea where there is fatty stool, and obstetric jaundice, there will be decreased bile secretion, so there will be no absorption of vitamin K. And then prolonged antibiotic use. So prolonged, because vitamin K, one source of vitamin K is your bacteria in the GIT, so prolonged antibiotic use will destroy these bacteria, so vitamin K deficiency will be there. So in all these cases we can use coagulants like vitamin K. And ethamsilate can be used to prevent bleeding in postpartum hemorrhage, in menorrhagia, in tooth extraction. We can use ethamsilate. That's all. Thank you.